Welcome to the Vinny Rock Podcast.
Much more than this, I did it my way.
Oh my God, I'm excited about today's podcast. We are started. Sorry, I didn't even tell you, Curt. We started. The podcast has started. Real quick before we get started, well, first, you guys can be super excited. If you've ever thought about robbing a bank, and I can swear to you almost everyone listening has had it cross their mind. Those Ocean's 13s, Ocean's 12 movies are fucking exciting because it's a heist. There's all kinds of them I can think about that have... Heat. Heat's another one, right? Heat's another one. What's another big movie like that? There's several big ones that are just heist movies that are always fucking exciting. Well, my guest today has a little bit of personal experience with that, and we're going to talk about it after these sponsors. Holy fuck, I'm excited about that. So one of the first sponsors everyone knows, Warfighter Tobacco. Warfighter Tobacco is a company that I own. It was started by some solid motherfuckers, and it is some amazing-ass tobacco. I actually answered a guy the other day. He goes, is it still from Colombia or whatever the fuck? And I was like, or Dominican? I was like, no, they are not. These are Nicaraguan cigars now. We have the old ones, and we're pushing them out. We are now all about the Nicaragua blends, and if you haven't tried them, well, then you are fucking wrong. I'm telling you right now, they are something to be proud of as a company, and they're something that you can be excited about as a consumer. If you guys have not tried the new Warfighter Tobacco cigars, please try one on me. It's 11% off if you use Vinny Rock code. Go check them out. If you have any questions, hit me up or hit some of the boys up. Another one of our sponsors is Beard.com. You know, all the Manor products and El Vato, the pomade, all come from Beard.com. I'm working on getting a few more things in there. I'm working on getting some razors maybe. We're going to get some shirts, whatever the case. I don't know. Just shit in there for you to buy if you like this stuff. My question is to you, what do you use currently on your beard? What do you use currently on your hair? What do you use currently as your shampoo? Well, if you have questions, we've got answers. If you guys want something for your beard, for your face, for your just fucking manly-ass balls, hit it up. Beard.com. Check it out. What else, man? You know, there's no rules to this, right? So, also Lisa beds. I was just talking to Curt about my Lisa bed. It's one of the best sleep beds I've ever had. But how hard is it to promote a bed company? There's fucking like 90 of them out there. But I believe in Lisa beds because Lisa beds do donate a lot of money to homeless, and part of those homeless veterans. Part of those homeless are a lot of veterans. There's a lot of veterans that are homeless, and so they have donated at this point. I believe it's like $25,000 last year, and so it's just a company that they jumped on board early with me. I believe in them. They believed in me. I'm not sure how much longer I'll have them as a sponsor, but I'm proud that they have given me the opportunity thus far. Lisa Beds, go check them out. It's Lisa Sleep. Check them on Instagram. I just posted a picture of it on my Instagram. Use Vinny Rock for a promotion. I believe it's 100% off some of the smaller beds, 200 off the bigger beds. Check them out. Man, I can go on and go on about sponsors, but I think I want to get on to talking about you. Yeah?
All right.
Are you excited? Let's do that, you know? Oh my goodness. Oh wait, let me give one more. I'm going to give one more. It's called Combat Flags. Combat Flags is cool, man. Veteran owned, operated. This guy makes these flags. I left it. It's out there on my kitchen table. I put it right behind my chair because I fucking think it's pretty badass. But it's a combat flag that is made specifically for your branch. If you're an Army guy, if you're a Navy guy, if you're an Air Force guy, if you're a Marine guy, they can make a flag that is focused towards your branch, and it's pretty fucking badass. If you're going to have an American flag, it's badass to even have a combat flag somewhere in your arsenal. So you guys go check them at combat_flags on Instagram. Check them out. All right, and you can use Vinny Rock for 10% off. All right, Curt, fuck it. Let's talk about it. So, Curt, you want to give a quick, introduction of yourself?
I mean, I guess just jumping right in is easy enough.
Yeah, let's just do it. You're Curt.
Yeah.
You're Curt from Utah.
Yep, Curt from Utah. Always have been, always will be.
There you go. What a man. Man, so the reason why this even came down is I'm close friends with his sister and brother-in-law. Never in a million years did I imagine that this story would come from these two, right? Like when I think of this, when I think of a bank robbery, so I think of I had a friend, one of my close friends. His uncle was a well-known bank robber back in L.A.
Oh, wow.
They called him the smiley face bank robber, something like that. I guess every time in the cameras he would smile, and so they dub you with a name.
Right.
And so that was kind of cool. And he was telling us the stories a long time ago, and I was like, man, that's crazy, right? Like, I've thought about it would be cool, but I also never have done it because I just kind of had a different idea for myself. I always thought, like, man, if it comes down to it, I'm going to try and do it. But then as years progress, it almost became more and more impossible when you start knowing all the stuff that's involved with the security behind it, the cameras, all the shit.
Right.
And then I was in Ranger Battalion. And in Ranger Battalion, in 2005, 3 Army Rangers, privates, meaning lower-ranked individuals, they cased the joint, right? They did their recon of the objective, we would say in the military.
Right.
All right, and then they made a glass house behind our company, and they practiced and practiced and practiced how they would enter, how they would exit, how much time it would take them, almost like you would think of the movie Heat.
Right.
Where
yeah.
they're counting down and that. So that's what these guys did. They practiced, they practiced, they practiced. There's another movie I'm thinking of with Edward Norton Jr. where they robbed. There's another heist movie, and they used these cars, and they were practicing these cars, like driving these cars, these little mini coupes.
Italian Job.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so same kind of feel in my head is these guys practiced. And if you understand Ranger Battalion, we train our lowest individuals at a high level. And so these dudes who were younger ranked, still highly trained dudes.
Yeah.
And they were able to rob a bank in I believe it was under 2.5 minutes, maybe 3.
Wow.
And I believe they got away with $50,000, maybe less. And they made one mistake. The getaway vehicle didn't hide the license plate.
Oh.
And when they got caught, it was obvious it was someone in the military, is what they said. If you watch the camera footage, and we could probably find it on YouTube, the camera footage, they go in, they're really tactically moving through.
Yeah. That precision.
Yeah, the security
away.
guard was like, fuck this, right? These guys have AK-47s
Wow.
and hand grenades, right? These fucking dudes, intimidation already, right? Like, who the fuck wants to go hand-to-hand with that, right? A pistol and an AK? Not
I
it.
don't, yeah.
Right. And so that's kind of what happened. And then when they got caught, they changed their whole story, and they said that they were actually robbing the bank to bring light to injustice that happened overseas in Iraq and Afghanistan, trying to kind of cover their tracks, trying to save face, if you will.
Yeah.
And so it turned into a very controversial thing. All 3 of them got caught. The money was returned, and I believe they are still probably doing prison time for it.
Yeah.
Maybe not. It's been years, but yeah. So that was my close thing with, like, damn, that's crazy.
That is crazy.
And currently, my wife spent years, I'm talking 10 years in the bank industry. And one of the first questions on one of my dates was like, robbing a bank, like, you know. And she's like, no, dude, you just give them the money. Like, policy is hand over the money, don't worry about it. If you can, touch the panic button. If you can't, no big deal. It's all about just make sure that everyone's safe. Now, I'm not condoning this. I'm just saying no one wants to fucking die over the money, right? There's a lot of insurance that's in place. There's a lot of things that's in place that's like, it's not worth it. And all the other things like cameras that are on every fucking corner in this world nowadays. And you know, they say 90% of them are inside jobs.
Yeah.
And here comes to Curt's story. So, Curt, I would love to hear your story. Let's just say it that way.
Yeah, sure. I'll just dive in. Some stuff I can kind of get more detailed with, and others I'll kind of glance over just because it does, it involves a lot of lives that were involved in here.
Not a problem, man. So whatever you feel comfortable speaking about, it's all about it.
It's been almost 10 years now. I had just moved out of my parents' house with a girl.
Yeah.
I had been working a job that was paying well, and when the recession hit, it kind of dropped down. I had just taken out a lease on Lotus lease. Oh, yep. And so, like, I was driving this really nice car, had a house, was happy to be out of my parents' house, and then it all kind of got just swept out from under me.
And how old were you?
I was 18, 19? No, I was 20.
20 years old. Nice.
20, yeah. And so I didn't want to have to, like, lose my car, lose the house, have to move back in with my parents. And the girl I had been with, we were having a lot of issues and different stuff. And so I felt like just my life was crumbling around. Yeah. And it came to the last month that I was going to be able to pay my bills, and then looked, and she had spent some of the money on taking her friends out to lunch or whatever. So I was going to lose. I couldn't pay anything.
Yeah.
So I went to my best friend at the time, and I was just kind of crying on his shoulder, letting him know, like, what do I do?
Yeah.
I'm so screwed, kind of a thing. And he's like, oh, well, at my job today, they were teaching us about, if we ever get robbed. And I was like, oh, I didn't know you got a new job. And he's like, yeah, I got a job at this bank. And he said exactly what you were saying a minute ago, where they say, if anything happens, just do what they say.
Yeah.
No, they don't want anybody to get hurt.
Right, exactly.
And so I'm like, well, that's interesting, but we're talking about me right now.
Yeah.
We can talk about your day in a minute.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, you're not hearing me. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Anyway, over a long night and many drinks, he was pretty much like, you got to do this, man. This is the only way.
Let's do it.
You got to come and rob my bank. And I was like, there's no way, I mean.
Dude, it's funny. At 20 years old, right? You're 21 or 20?
I was 20 at the time.
20 years old. We all have those nights where, like, we think it's the best decision, and fuck yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Especially with a little bit of liquid courage.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason, it kind of sets in like, yeah, that's what we're doing. Holy shit. And so you planned it out.
Yeah, so it was almost the end of the month, so I had like a week or so to do it, basically. And so he told me, where the panic buttons were. We planned a day when it was just going to be him and his manager working, and that I would come in first thing in the morning, because usually if anybody... Like, the mornings are dead. So if anybody needs the bank, they're usually there right when it opens, and then it's dead for a while.
Yeah.
So he said that would be the best time. This Friday, it's going to be just me and the manager. You come in, here's where the panic buttons are, so you keep,
Stay away from those.
that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hit it, so you don't have to worry about it, but you got to make it look good, kind of a thing. And I mean, I have red hair. I'm a very noticeable person. And
You're very
memorable.
Utah.
Yeah. I stand out easily in the crowd. So I'm like, I have to have some kind of a disguise. So I went and got like a wig, some baggy clothes, really huge boots that were like the wrong size.
Yeah.
To make me look taller, as well as if they got like a shoe print or something, it wouldn't be
So
my
you thought it
size.
out.
Yeah, we really did. I even had makeup that I wore over my skin. I wore some really dark makeup.
So you're trying to look like a different ethnicity completely.
Yeah, something that would be as far away from this, 20-year-old ginger kid as possible.
Yeah.
And so, and we cased the place and everything and figured out what we wanted to do. So that Friday, I woke up, drove over, and there was a neighborhood that was next to the bank. And so I went and parked my car kind of in the back of that neighborhood. They were still building some houses, so there wasn't many people around or anything like that. And so I was able to just park my car there and put on this disguise that I had, and then essentially just walk over to the bank with that
Let me
disguise.
ask you.
Yeah.
That morning you woke up, you knew you were going to do it.
Yeah, you always have those like second thought kind of, like doubts or like, should I really be doing this? But he had told me something that kind of stuck with me. And at the time it sounded like so beautiful and profound. But at the time looking back on it, I'm like, we were so young and stupid. As he said, if you don't do it, you lose your house, you lose your car, you lose everything. If you do it and you get away with it, you keep those things. If you do it and you get caught, you still lose everything. So are you going to sit there and do nothing, or get up off your ass and try?
Oh my God. And dude, at me at 20 would be like, you're fucking right.
Exactly, yeah. So I just kind of had to keep repeating that to myself as I'm sitting in the car. The adrenaline's pumping. I almost had to like kind of put myself out of the situation in a way.
I can see that.
Like, this is so not me. And once I looked in the rearview mirror, looking at it, I'm like, this literally doesn't look like me. This isn't me.
Yeah.
But this is happening.
It's almost like an out-of-body experience. You're watching it all go down, and just like, like you just know at that moment, I potentially have fucking ruined my life, right? I potentially will be going to prison for this. And at the same time, you're like, but if I get away with this shit,
Exactly.
it's going to be fucking epic, right?
Right, yeah. So
I mean, it's 20-year-old mentalities, dude.
Yeah, to me, it was worth the risk versus reward kind of a thing at the time.
We all
Hindsight
think
is
that we're
20/20.
invincible at 20.
Yeah.
Right? We all do. I thought it myself. You know what I'm saying? So, fuck. So now you're walking to the bank.
Yeah, so I'm walking, and I had like a ski mask kind of thing, a balaclava.
Yeah.
I had one of those, and I had it wrapped up, like almost looking like a beanie on my head. So I wanted to make sure, because they had two sets of doors. I wanted to go into the first door with it purposely up so they would see the disguise.
Yes.
Because I was a long, dark hair wig, and then with this makeup and stuff. And so I purposely wanted them to see that.
Yeah.
And then so I opened, as I was walking up to the actual doors, it was early morning, so the sun's just coming in. So there was a lot of glare. And as I was walking, I caught a glimpse of this like Hispanic or Polynesian looking dude right behind me. So I turn around, and then I realized, wait, that's me. So that's how much like that disguise was. It was pretty legit. And I was just so like wound up.
Yeah.
So I went through, and then finally I was like, all right, here we go. So I pulled that first door open, took a couple of steps, pulled down the mask, opened the next door, and because it was an inside job and he worked there,
Yeah.
and we knew how to manage the situation. It was just one older lady who was a manager working. We didn't need a real gun or anything, or even have access to a real
Yeah.
gun. So I just had like one of those little airsoft guns that
Yeah.
looks really legit, but I knew I wasn't going to hurt anybody.
Yeah.
So I didn't need any real weapons. So I pulled that out. And immediately he saw me as I was walking in, and she had been counting bills or something and looked up. And we all three of us just kind of froze for a second.
Yeah.
Because they were panicked, but at the same time, I
So-
panicked. So I'm like, here we go. So I start yelling, doing what he had told me to do, keep him away from the panic buttons. I didn't want to bother with any of the money in the tills. A lot
Yeah.
of bank robbers, that's what they do, is they go up with a note or something, and they
Yeah.
only get like a couple $1,000 from that one till.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. I didn't want to mess with that. I wanted the vault.
Yeah.
You know, like go big or go home
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And so I ushered him over to the vault. I had her open it up. I had him get in there. I had her kneel down. I pulled out a garbage bag that I brought with me and threw it to my friend.
Yeah.
And, demanded him put the money in the bag kind of a thing. And so he's doing that, and he had told me which ones were the die packs and how they identify it.
Yeah.
And I won't
Yeah,
disclose
yeah.
that, but it's actually a really simple thing. So I noticed, I'm like, hey, why are these ones, like that?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. Somebody just put them in there like that.
Yeah,
So I'm like, no, fuck that. Leave those. Give me the money. And then, so I had him get down on the ground. I finally had my bag of money, and I let him know, like, all right, this is almost over.
Yeah.
Don't get up
Just
for the
shut
next
the
30
fuck up.
seconds.
Yeah, just shut
kind
the
of a thing.
fuck up while I leave here.
Exactly. And so I slammed the vault door shut behind me, so they couldn't play the hero kind
Yeah.
of a thing. And there was a panic button in the vault, so I knew like they're going to be able to get out.
Yeah.
Not a big deal. And so I grabbed I've got the money in one hand, I've got the fake gun in the other, and I'm just trying to book it out of there, And as I'm going back to the doors to leave, I see a car pull up. I'm like, oh crap! So I hurried and used the garbage bag and kind of wrapped it to try and hide the gun.
Yeah.
And then I pulled the mask back up. I still had my disguise. I wasn't worried about the cameras, but I was just like praying and trying to like calm myself down as I stepped out to like walk quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Since I had parked my car in the neighborhood,
Yeah.
I wasn't going to just walk back after robbing it. So when I had him, after he had put the money in the bag, I demanded his keys. And I said, which one's your car? Basically to use the teller's car
Yeah.
as the getaway to get to my car where I was clean,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And so I was heading towards his car, and I'm fumbling with the keys now and I'm just praying, like, don't be a hero, don't be a hero.
Yeah.
And if I remember, I think it was a guy and a girl, but I was just trying to get out of there so quick, I don't remember. But I heard one of them say, I think this place just got robbed. And I was just like, get in the car, hurried, got it, floored it out of there, and took off.
Holy
And,
shit, dude.
So it scared
You know what's
the crap
funny?
out of me.
If it was me, if I'm walking in and I'm one of those dummies who would have fought you, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, there's a handful of dudes like me that are like wishing and praying that moment fucking happens right in front of them, right? Just because it's
Right.
like, fuck yeah, let's fuck this dude up, right?
Yeah.
On the other note, it's also me who thought like, man, it would be so dope to rob a bank. You know
Right.
what I mean? So this crazy fucking thing, and everything, like there's a fear in that. Having the fake gun doesn't necessarily stop you from getting shot if a cop walked in.
Right, not at all.
Yeah, and did you think about that?
I actually hadn't really much. I knew that I wasn't worried because I wasn't going to.
Yeah, 'cause you didn't have a real gun and you weren't hurt no one.
But I didn't realize.
What everyone else will perceive.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think about the fact of. Well, I mean, I knew there was that danger.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing, but I didn't really take it as seriously as looking back. Like, yeah, it could have been one guy who had a gun.
Holy
Anything could have
crap.
happened, and I would have been taken out. So it was definitely a really stupid move.
It's crazy. It's crazy, but it's all good. So you're in the car and you're getting away. You got out of that car. You weren't worried of fingerprints. You wearing gloves.
I had gloves as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
So
course.
then you jumped out of that vehicle. You go to your vehicle.
Right.
All right, and then you go home and shower up and throw away everything. I would have just thrown away everything, like got in a bag, throw it in the trash somewhere, or some shit. Right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got home, got all cleaned up, and then I had to work at my job. And so that was going to be my thing. Like, I had just enough time to go do that,
Yes.
get showered, get to work on time. So it almost kind of be
It's a
an
good alibi, right.
Yeah. So I got showered and cleaned up. As I'm getting out of the shower, I got like my bag ready to go to work. I
Yeah.
got all dressed in a suit, was ready to go. And I got a text from my buddy.
That day.
Yeah.
Right then.
Right then. that said something along the lines of "They know it's you."
How the fuck would they know it's you?
That's what blew my mind for months. I had no idea. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I.
You're wondering. You're trying to retrace your steps and seeing where you fucked up.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe somebody did see
So
my car. And
currently,
didn't
you
know
have
license
your
plate.
sleeves. You're tattooed. Did you have that then?
I had just one tattoo,
And
right
that
here
wasn't
then.
exposed
And
either?
not at all. No, I had.
So
a jacket
there's nothing you
and
can think of.
everything.
Huh. And so,
And it had only been, I mean, an hour, something like that.
dude, he flipped.
Yeah. It's,
Was that what you feel?
We'll get to that.
Yeah,
I
okay.
guess. Well,
No, good. It's on you. Let's continue.
yeah. So,
So you
I
get the
had
text.
no idea.
Holy
I had no idea
shit.
what happened. But I was like, well, I'm not just gonna go to work and wait for him to come and get me.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run. I'm already in trouble.
Did you count the money yet?
No.
You just have a bag full of fucking
Just
money.
a bag full of money. Yeah. So I took my bag, my work bag, emptied that out of everything that was in there, just dumped all the money in.
Yeah.
Changed into more comfortable clothes because I wasn't going to work now.
Yeah.
And took that bag and set it on the stairs where I usually set my bag and went and gave a kiss to the girl and said,
She
I'm
know?
off to work.
Did she know any of this?
No, she had no idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Which is fucking super rad, right? To be like, and so she has no idea. Now you're about to just,
Leave.
yep, hit the road.
Yeah. And
And you were good with like, sorry, girl, I got shit to do.
I mean, I wanted, part of me wanted to tell her, like, look, this is what's going on. But the other part was just like, I don't have time and
You don't want her
this is
involved.
going to hurt either way.
Yeah, why?
Yeah.
You don't want to bring, because when you start telling her and she doesn't say something, now she's an accomplice, and you
Exactly.
start fucking up more lives.
Right.
Right. And
Right.
so you got your bag, you got your money, you get in your car, and you're gone.
And I'm gone. Yeah.
Dude, there's got to be moments, because the best thing for me, I've driven from California to Kentucky, from Southern California, Kentucky to Northern California, Kentucky. I've driven from Washington to fucking Arizona. Like, the drives for me, those long drives, is nothing but time to fucking think.
Yep.
And so you drove. In what direction did you go?
Initially, I went north. Just kind of like, I got to get away.
Yeah.
And I had no idea where I was going to go, what
Yeah.
I was going to do. So I'm just like, I'm putting distance between myself and the area. And like you said, man, just time to think. And my mind's going like crazy. The
Yeah.
adrenaline's finally calming down.
Holy
and,
crap, dude.
I ended up stopping a couple hours north.
Yeah.
And I saw a hair salon that was sitting there. And again, now I don't have my disguise, but I need to disguise myself at least a little bit if they're looking for me right away.
And you know that they probably can track debit cards and all this stuff. So
Right.
so you're not fucking with that. Did you think they would track a cell phone at that time 10 years ago? You weren't sure if they even had the capabilities to do so.
Yeah,
right?
I wasn't sure if that was something that would be in the mix, but
Yeah.
I'd seen movies and knew that
Yeah,
it was
we've all
possible.
right.
So I took my SIM card out of my phone.
No way.
Threw that
Genius.
and my credit cards and everything. I threw those away in a garbage can at a bus stop.
What you have a lot of ingenuity, right? Like you have a lot. There's a deeper thought process that you've done that I know that people won't and have not done. Like you're an intelligent dude, right? Like
I made a mistake though. I mean, so I can't be that smart. But I tried to plan it out. as
right,
best
right.
I could.
No, yeah. So, okay. So now you're just driving it. When do you figure out what the plan is?
It took me a while.
So
Like I said-
I didn't say. So what'd you turn your disguise into? What'd you change your look to?
I had him dye my hair black so it wouldn't be as obvious, and my eyebrows. So then I just look like a freckled gothic kid instead of this redhead on the run. And I did have, like I said, this one tattoo just right here on my forearm, so not very big, but it was summer at the time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it's hot. I got to get a long sleeve shirt, just like a button-up
Yeah.
shirt or something. So I ditched the car and then hopped on a bus. That's when I threw all the stuff in the bus station garbage, and took a bus back down to like the Salt Lake area, because to catch a bus out of the state, they all meet at that hub. And so I was waiting, and the next bus didn't leave for a few more hours.
Fucking terrifying.
So,
Sitting in the
yeah.
same fucking pretty much general city of where you just fucking robbed the bank, and you know you're on the run. You know everyone's now looking for you.
Right.
And somehow you had to come right back to the same fucking area and wait several hours for the next ride out.
Exactly. So I luckily it was right by the mall that's right there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, I need to get a button-up shirt or something. So, but I can't carry around this bag of money. So at the bus station, they have lockers that you can rent. For
Seen those in movies. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I did. I went and rented one of those and put the bag of money in there. And I'm like, okay, I need to have some money on me, obviously, and I want to have the most I can. So I was like, okay, I'll grab, because they were all banded wrapped bills, you know? So I'm like, I'll grab hundreds, because then, you know, 100
Yeah.
hundreds is $10,000.
Are you nervous about the bills being marked?
No,
Not marked, but as in, right, a number system.
sequential or anything like that? No, those were, we'd already
That's
factored
something
for that.
you've learned.
Yeah.
You've learned, and you know how that factored out of the whole
Right.
question. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and my buddy had let
Because that's
me
a
know,
fear of
like,
mine.
none of
Like,
these- yeah.
to me, it's like when I see movies, that's the other thing you have to worry about, right? Like, oh no, they're fucking numbered, right?
Right.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but that bank never got sequential bills or
Yeah,
anything
so-
like that.
so-
It's all open currency
Cool.
kind of a thing. And so I'm trying to look through my bag, but not have it open because there's people around. It's a bus stop, and so I'm looking at the bands, and I'm looking, and I see one that's 100. So I'm like, okay, perfect. That's hundreds. Is
Yeah.
what I assumed at
You
the
thought.
time. Yeah. So I just try and grab it, threw it in my pocket, walk,
The
shut
100
the locker, walk away. And so I'll go shopping around at some shops trying to find the shirt to cover up my tattoo.
Yeah.
And I finally find one that's my size that'll look all right, that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
And I go to pay for it, and the guy's like, all right, that's $78 or whatever. And I'm like, $78 for a button-up
Yeah.
shirt?
Like, what the fuck, Banana Republic?
Yeah. And I'm like, how is this? Whatever. But then I realized, like, wait, dude, you have $10,000 in your pocket.
Yeah.
That's 100.
Right.
Big deal, So I'm trying to get the one bill out of this because, like I said, it's banded in the rubber band, so it's hard to get it without pulling this whole thing out of
Yeah.
my pocket. And I finally get one loose, and so I go to slap it down.
It's a single.
It's a single.
Oh my God! So you
Yeah.
had $100 in singles.
So I had $100 in singles, no credit cards or anything. That's all. So I had to pay for this shirt with 78 ones.
Oh my! And
that
this
guy
dude's like,
hated me.
Yeah, he's like, did this guy come from a strip club or not go to the strip club or what the hell, dude?
He was pretty confused,
That's-
and I felt like an idiot.
Well, it's also if he sees that money band and he sees a roll in your pocket, that's not normal for anyone to be carrying that around. So right away, that's an identifier, right? Like, it's like if he's hearing the news, someone robbed the bank, and all of a sudden there's a dude in front with his weird rolled up, like dude, that's fucking
Right.
nerve wracking, right?
Yeah, and so I'm like, I got to get out of here now.
Fuck.
Just keep distancing myself. So I went, and there's a movie theater that's there too. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I can hide in movies, basically.
Yeah, that's good.
To kill time. So that's what I did. I went and saw a couple of movies, and then finally it was getting close for the bus to come. So I jumped on the bus. I don't even remember where it was going, to be honest. It bounced around so much, and I would like buy a ticket to a location, and then I'd get off at one of the earlier stops and buy a different one just so they couldn't track me. as
Holy
easily,
shit,
just in
dude!
case.
You had it all thought out.
I did not want to get caught. I didn't want to have to face the consequences, but more than that, I was so nervous to like face my family.
Oh,
and
of
things like
course,
that.
dude.
Like, 'cause
It's,
I
there's a
let
lot
them
of
down.
disappointment that
Yeah.
comes with that. At the same time, like, fuck, man, people make mistakes, dude. But fuck, this story is crazy. And so, where did you end up?
First place I actually stopped. Like, I was like, I can't keep riding buses. I'd been on buses for like a couple of days.
Yeah.
And was San Francisco.
And you have no communication with the world right now. Like, are you kind of watching the news and seeing if something pops up about it, or you're just kind of like, fuck this?
I
don't.
was just on the bus. I had no access to
Yeah.
that.
And this is
every
10 years
stop I
ago
was
too.
there.
Like
Yeah.
people 10 years ago, social media and fucking cell phones and data and all that stuff is a lot different than it is now.
Definitely so.
So then you stopped there. Where was it that you spent the most time? You decided just to fucking settle in.
Well, from San Francisco, I stayed there about a week. That was the first time I finally got to count the money.
Yeah.
And that
Oh,
felt
really?
good. Yeah, because I had to get a hotel, and I tried to go to a hotel, and you need an ID.
Yeah,
and a credit
exactly.
card. So I was like, never mind. So I went and took a taxi, and I let the guy know, like, take me to like the dirtiest
A motel, pretty much,
you
yeah.
know. Yeah. And he did. That was the dirtiest place I'd ever seen, and even they wanted an ID. So I'm like, all right. Okay, I have to have an ID to get a room. I still had kept my actual ID. I got rid of my credit and debit cards, but
Yeah.
I still had my actual ID. Mm-hmm. And so while I had been bouncing on the bus, that's when I came up with my backstory of what I was going to do when I found a place to settle down.
Yeah.
To explain no social security card or number, all this money
Yeah.
and whatnot. So when I got off the bus in San Francisco, I decided that I was a British citizen who was an only child, and the parents had both passed away recently.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start life anew with my inheritance in a new country.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So that was my story.
Nice.
Accent and all. And so when that...
How did you come up with this accent?
It was one that I had kind of practiced before. did like some acting stuff when I was younger, just
Yeah.
high school and stuff. And so one of the things they make you learn is different accents, and that one was my favorite. And it just kind of came more naturally to me. And so
Can I hear it?
It's rusty.
Yeah.
But I'll slip in and out of it at times
Okay.
for you. But it's pretty rusty.
Cool. That's great. And so then, what's the excuse for not having identification? Were you robbed?
Well, I ended up getting a fake ID down the line, which was easy. I ordered it off the internet, and it said right on like British National, and I could put whatever information I wanted. I sent him a picture to go on there, and it was like $50, and it's like super
shit.
easy because they're
Yeah.
considered novelty IDs or
Yeah.
something like that,
Yeah.
you know. So I ended up getting that down the line.
And who
but-
really fucking knows what one of those looks like, right? Like,
yeah,
exactly.
you never see those, so they're
Yeah.
not going to know really if it was real or fake. And
Yeah, so you're just
it
like-
always did good for me.
Yeah, so
I
you're
used
just
it
like,
the whole time.
okay, cool. Yeah. British. Cool.
But I didn't have that yet, so I still need to get this hotel room.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I went to a regular place. I went to this dirty place. Now, if I got to sell this, I got to go to a really nice hotel.
Yeah.
So I went to a really nice hotel. It was like $300 a night.
Yeah.
Right at the heart of San Francisco. And I went in there and I let him know, like, hey, I need a room, blah, 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 blah. And when it came around time for him to ask for my ID,
Yeah.
I let him know, like, hey, I'm actually this British comedian in town to do a show. I'm a comedian. So is there any way you could put my stage name down on the register so if anybody calls, they can get in touch with me?
Yeah.
Because I use a stage name kind of a thing. So I was like, that's a real gamble. Let's see if it works kind
Yeah.
of a thing. But he was like, you're a comedian and from England. That's amazing. You know? And so the guy was just like, tell me a joke. Haha. So I'm telling him some joke as I'm handing him my ID, hoping he'll just hurry and kind of pass over it
Yeah.
kind of a thing. And it worked. He did. He put down a stage name for me and all this stuff. And so that way my name wasn't on a real register. And so I was able to do that.
shit.
And finally got to the hotel room. I'd been carrying around this bag with money
And no clue
for
what's in it.
days and no idea how much was there. And I finally had a chance to breathe. So I poured that money out on the bed and just stared at it for a while. And it was a crazy feeling. Like, I knew that what I had done was so stupid, but at the same time, when you're looking at that much money,
Yeah.
it's hard to not smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I finally counted it, and it was a little over 50,000. So it was a lot like what your buddy's got.
Yeah. 50,000. And that's pretty significant. It's 10 years ago and a 20-year-old kid.
Yeah, that was
You know what I
more
mean?
than 2 years
Salary.
for-
Exactly.
yeah, well above that at that point.
And so,
in life.
so did you think when this your moment to breathe? Did you think like, I can do this again?
I had no urge, never have I, to ever rob a bank again after that. Well, that's one of those like one and done type things for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if I was an adrenaline junkie, there are way better things to do
Yeah.
than that again.
Holy-
So I've never
holy
thought about it.
So from there, yeah. So now you count your money. You're relaxing a little bit.
Yeah, so I ended up in Sacramento and lived there for a while. I got a place that just let me do cash month to month and got to know some of the neighbor kids that were there who were
Yeah.
really close to my age and just partied with them pretty
Yeah.
much all the time. You know, when they were busy at work or school during the day, I'd be in my apartment like listening to British like TV shows and doing my homework. I learned the whole like geography kind of a thing.
No
and
shit.
everything so that I would have as much knowledge as possible if
When
I was
someone-
ever questioned,
yeah.
like realistically.
Like, oh, I visited there and I studied abroad. I was there, and you're gonna be like, yeah, fuck, I know the area.
Exactly, yeah. And so the accent I was doing was a Manchester accent, and they have different British accents, just like
Holy
here in the
shit.
U.S. You know if somebody's from Jersey or
Yeah, yeah,
Wisconsin
exactly.
or whatever. They have the same thing over there. So there's a wide variety of different accents. So I had to learn to distinguish
To really figure that
between
out.
them and
Yeah.
make sure that mine was on point, and did that for a long time and partied with them just all the time. I mean, I had nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And I missed my family.
Of
And I
course.
didn't know what I was going to do. So a lot of that I kind of turned to self-medication and drinking.
Right.
Kind of a thing.
Well, dude, it's tough, right? Like you grew up LDS,
Yeah.
correct?
Right.
And so anyone who understands LDS, that's they're very strict on those things. You know, you're not supposed to be drinking, right? You're not
Right.
supposed to be indulging in this kind of concepts. You're not even supposed to be breaking the law.
Right.
And so at this point, a family who is LDS, who raised LDS, you now are kind of identified as the black sheep. You're the one who's fucking shit up for the family, right?
Right.
And so I know that comes with a lot of guilt. It goes with a lot. I mean, I bet every day you're thinking like, dude, am I ever going to get back to my family? You know what I mean?
Right.
Are you ever going to be able to have a meal with your dad and bullshit? You know what I mean? Things like I could see that. For me as a guy in the veteran community, as I'm deploying, I've always thought of like, I called one time home and heard my family all having Thanksgiving together. And us, I grew up with a pretty good sized family. We always had Thanksgiving together. And I was fucking mad that I was like, damn, I'm fucking over here in Iraq, or I think this was Afghanistan when I heard, and I'm hearing them all chatting, saying, oh, we miss you. I'm thinking like, fuck, I should be there, right?
Yeah.
And so I get like, in a sense that what you were going through is almost the, fuck, dude, I just lost everything for what, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Holy shit.
It was tough because, like I said, I told people that my parents had passed away and I was an only child, and that's where my money came from.
Yeah.
But sometimes my friends would ask me, and want to like hear stories or something about back home, about my family, and I would get teary-eyed, and they're like, oh, it's because his family died, we feel bad. But I'm like, no, I just really miss him.
Yeah, it's like, fuck, dude. If you guys only knew like the deep dark secret inside, it's very simple actually. You just miss being home.
Right.
Holy shit, dude. And did you work at any point?
I actually did a couple of like under the table jobs, just a little bit. Like as a comedian, I had done stand up.
You did do some stand up,
so that's why I used that as a cover at the hotel. So I actually went and did some stand up for a while, and they liked me so much that they wanted me to start like doing hosting and stuff. And so they were putting my face on a flyer, and I was like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Sorry, you guys.
So you were doing the comedy,
I'm getting
with
too much,
with the British accent,
and
fucking,
everything.
You're starting to get a little bit of notoriety.
Yeah, so I had to cut that off. But I didn't know what I was going to do when I ran out of money either. It made me kind of nervous because I had no idea what to do. You know?
So how long was this about of you living kind of this double life, this British, this Manchester accent, British guy? How long were you doing this?
About 10 months, I think.
10 months.
So a little under a year.
And were you just like, how long is this going to last? And where were you in money at this point? In 10 months, how much money did you still have?
I still had quite a bit, actually.
So you never got reckless.
A lot, but I kind of learned how to like create a good system in roulette, and they had like Indian casinos that were there.
Oh yeah, I know roulette.
Like an hour and a half away.
I've sat in roulette for a while and made some money.
Yeah, so that's what we would do every few weeks. My buddies would be like, "Hey, who wants to go get drunk on me?" And so like, "Let's go."
Yeah.
And so I would bring like $5 or $10 grand with me and hand them $100 every hour or so just to keep them busy. And I would make thousands. So
you had just community with you, which made you feel like somewhat at home, right? You're building the community around you with your friends. They're gonna fucking join in because you're paying for them to entertain themselves, and it's a little bit of comfort for you to have that.
Oh yeah, they became my like adoptive family in so many ways because they had a really close group of friends, and they were all from a smaller city that was outside Sacramento. So they all grew up together and everything, and then moved to Sacramento to go to school. And so they were like really close knit. So for like Thanksgiving, they were like, "Hey, you're coming with us to our family's Thanksgiving." And so I was like, all right.
It feels good, but I bet at some point you also feel guilty. Like
I did at times.
Yeah.
Because I felt bad because I'm like, my lie is spreading further and further.
Right.
But I never did anything to hurt these people.
Right, exactly. Yeah. That's the thing is like, it's funny, man, because your little dark secret to them is your dark secret, but at the same time, like, you're a good character, right? You're a good person.
Yeah.
You're not out there fucking taking advantage of any of these fucking people. You're just continuing a friendship and all that stuff.
Yeah.
10 months later, what happens now?
Oh man, I could tell you so many stories while I was on the run. We might have to do another podcast.
I'm down, dude. We can do these. We can do 20 of these. I'm fucking.
Okay.
I love this shit.
Well, I'll tell you just a couple quick then, and then we'll get on to what happened after that.
Cool.
So, one of them, like I said, for Thanksgiving, they took me to their family's house and stuff, and I was like so blown away because I'm like, oh, Thanksgiving, what's that? We don't have that.
Oh my!
What is the point, And they're like, "Oh, dude, it's great. We shove our faces full of food and we throw around a football." And I'm like, "Oh, football! I love football." And they're like, "No, not soccer, football." And so I still to this day have a video of me at that Thanksgiving throwing my first football.
Oh my God!
And they were like, he's pretty good, and I'm like, oh, I should go pro. Like.
So you're fucking acting. This is like the acting fucking 101. Fully engulf yourself into the situation and don't break character.
Exactly, I had to. I even when I was alone in my apartment, I was still always using my accent.
Did you dream in that?
I don't remember.
That'd
I'm
be
sure
awesome.
I did. I'm sure I did.
I'm sure you did,
Because
dude.
I never broke, no matter how drunk I was or whatever. Never slipped up.
Holy shit.
And to this day, a lot of those friends from back then, you know, when I got caught and everything, that's what they would say. Like, I can't believe it. He was flawless at this. He never slipped or anything.
And that was a big question I want to have. You're still friends with these people.
Some.
Was there some that you hurt them just on being
Some-
deceived?
Yeah, they were hurt that I had lied to them.
How could they? But you have to understand. I guess they really will never understand the situation because they weren't in that situation. At the same time, it's like I get it, right? Like I grew up in L.A. I grew up around some of the biggest hustlers ever. Like I've learned from guys and seen what they've done. I mean, hustlers, they make their money by hustling, whether it's legal or not, right? Like, and I have plenty of those friends that. I have one friend who's a well-known guy now, and I won't drop his name, but that guy taught a lot of us how to hustle. You know what I mean? And he knew the game really well. I'm talking, this dude was just really into it, heavy into it to whatever the hustle was, whether it was it's crazy, just crazy. Like it's just, but so it's like I get it, right? When I grew up, like that's very common to find someone who was hustling their way through life because it was just a hard situation. You just chose to fucking do it because it was a hard situation, right?
Right.
And then I think it's cool the guys that stuck around that are still your friends now, because the story is cool. This story, because I know what you're doing now too, right? Like I know that this was one of those. You made a mistake, you paid the price, and you continue on. Right? And which is fucking kind of a cool story, right? There's people fuck up, right? We all fucking make our mistakes, right? There's the mistakes I made, I just didn't get arrested, right? I didn't get caught, whatever the case, right?
Right.
So it's funny. I was working in the prison for a while, and that was a big thing to me. It's like, dude, I could easily be on the other side of this fucking thing. I just never got caught doing something stupid.
Exactly.
Right? A street fight put guys in prison for a long fucking time. You know what I mean? So I was like, and I've had plenty of those fucking piece of shits, right? Fuck, dude. So you're doing Thanksgiving and they're out of their mind because you don't know anything about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So little things like that. We'd go out to the bars a lot, and people would always test me. You know what I mean? Because they'd hear me and my accent, and they're like, "Oh yeah, where are you from?" You know, so I'm like, "Oh, Manchester."
Yeah.
You know, and they're like, "Oh, I've been there." You know, and so I had to learn British slang, a whole bunch of different things like that, and. There was a couple of times where I didn't know. So, like, for instance, one time at the bar, the girl was like, "Oh, yeah, what do they call cigarettes over there?" So I'm like, "Oh, everyone knows that. Fags."
Yeah.
You know, because that's what we always hear, kind of a thing. And she's like, "No, that's old. That was, like, hundreds of years ago. Now they call them tabs." And I'm like, "Where did you say you stayed again?" "I don't know. I've never heard that. You're crazy." You know, and everybody's kind of looking at me and looking at her.
It's
and
that
I'm like,
moment, like,
I'm like, "Don't
shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so that's what I pretty much had to be like, are you going to believe the guy who lived it or this drunk girl? You know, like kind of thing. And they're like, she's crazy. Becca, you've had too many.
And then
you
she's
know?
going home the next day and like, what the fuck?
Yeah, but they were just people I just.
Oh, yeah, it's always going to be like that.
So it was just random. So
It's
I wasn't
it's funny,
worried
the
about
military
it.
community is like that. People are like if they don't believe you're an army, you're like, I don't go out and tell people like, oh, I'm an Army Ranger, right? But like when it comes to the conversation, they're like, where'd you serve? What platoon were you in?
Yeah.
Who was your platoon sergeant? And you're like, what the fuck, dude? Right? But I get it because we do that to guys that their story seems off.
Right.
But someone with an accent in the room is the big, you're the fucking oddball right now. Like,
Right.
all attention on you with your crazy fucking accent. And then fucking someone who's been there thinks they're going to fucking top dog you, right? They're going to be like,
Exactly.
holy shit, dude.
And I never wanted to get cornered like that again.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, I got to learn everything I could.
Yeah.
You know, kind of a thing. And so I just immersed myself in that a lot. One day I was hanging out with one of my buddies, and we were watching like America's Most Wanted, or it wasn't that, but it was like those unsolved mystery kind of things. And I was like, what would you do if we were watching this and our other friend was on? You know, like put it off on somebody else. But I'm like trying to see like what would he do? You know, and he's just pretty much all his response was like that'd be crazy, man. You know, and I think he was probably stoned or something.
Yeah.
But I was kind of like curious, like what would they do? You know, what would happen? Because it made me nervous. Like if we're gonna watch that.
Yeah. All of a sudden you pop up on the screen.
Yeah, because I was on America's Most Wanted a couple of different times. FBI's Most Wanted list, like 3 different times while I was out there.
Dude, so when I grew up in LA, do you remember the story about Jesse James Hollywood?
Yeah.
They made a movie called Alpha Dog.
Uh-huh.
So crazy thing is that's where I grew up and that's the area and I was loosely associated with the same dudes he was.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I played baseball with one of the guys who actually was one of the guys who testified him against him in court.
Wow. Okay.
And me and him were really good friends. I'm not going to drop his name or anything, but me and him played ball together with both pitchers in freaking junior college. And I remember this old vehicle rolling up in the parking lot. The same time this guy's supposed to be on the run. Mm-hmm. And it's an old, I believe it's a Ford Galaxy at the time, and known that that's what he had.
Okay.
And when my buddy saw that vehicle, he got up and fucking ran.
Yeah.
He thought the dude was coming for him to kill him. And I don't know to this day, right? But I do know my buddy was one of the guys who was in court because he showed up the day, one of the days where they had the little kid, right? So eventually what happened was a guy who was a druggie who owed him a lot of money, he ended up taking his kid. He took his younger brother as kind of a show of force, like you need to pay me money. The guy never came up with the money. He ended up, his buddies, his two like crony dudes, killed the kid. Right. My buddy showed up to the house to buy some weed, saw this kid and was like, well, that's fucking weird. Like, hey man, you want to go with us too? We're gonna take him out to. He goes, nah, dude, I'm good. Grabs his dope and leaves.
Wow.
Right. And so like, I remember going to a sushi restaurant as a kid. I say kid, 19, 20, same time, and seeing Jesse James Hollywood's picture on the fucking wall thing, America's Most Wanted. And so for us in our little area, that was a big deal. And I'm sure your picture's probably around here in Utah, people thinking like, holy fuck, they're ever gonna catch him?
Exactly.
Holy shit. So you're in America's Most Wanted a few times. Or, damn.
Crazy.
Very wild.
So it made me nervous. Every like few months, like late at night, I would Google myself just to see, and it was crazy. That's how I knew I was like on this Most Wanted and all the different things, and I'm seeing all these different agencies that are getting included, in the search and different things, and it would always just make me sick to my stomach, and I'd have to turn off the laptop and just not even be able to sleep.
Well, it's because it's funny because it's totally not you. Right, like you just got backed in a corner and made a dumb kid decision,
right?
And while you and your buddy were drinking, doing dumb ideas, and it's completely not your character. But there's a lot of people like that, right? A lot of people that make those, and then like you said, you get sick to your stomach, seeing like, fuck, dude, how does this get fixed? Like, how does this end? Like, it gets exhausting, I'm sure, living like that.
Oh, it's so stressful.
Yeah,
it's so stressful. One day there was this white van that was parked out in front of my apartment where I lived, and it was just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that looks like the Federales right there, like blacked out windows, and you can't see into the back at all, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And I was watching it, and I had no food at the moment. I needed to go grocery shopping. Yeah. There was a little shop on the corner right by my place. So I was like, man, I need eggs and milk really bad. But I was like waiting for it to pull away or something. I was in there like, they might come bust down my door any minute. This could be it, And finally, I'm like, well, if they're going to get me, they're going to get me either way, so I might as well go get some milk and eggs.
Yeah.
So I walk out, and right as I walk past the van, I hear a click of the back door open, and it swings open, and I'm just like, here we go. And this just skinny dude gets out with phone books. He was delivering phone books, and I hadn't seen him come or go, so I don't know if he'd been like taking a nap in there or if I just wasn't watching when he had been there. But it was just a guy delivering phone books. But it scared me to death.
Your head's playing tricks on you already,
yeah.
right? It's like you have to look behind your back at all times now.
Exactly.
You feel it. You feel the pressure. It's coming down on you soon. Like you're feeling it, right?
Oh yeah.
Fuck, that's crazy, dude. And so what happened?
So finally, after a while, I had started dating this girl, and
British accent and all.
Yeah. I never broke character. I had to keep everything consistent all the time. So I told her the exact same story, everything to a T. And we'd been dating for a few months, and her birthday came around. Yeah. And so I let her know, like, wherever you want to go, we'll go. Like, whatever you want to do, I just cannot leave the country because then I cannot come back in. Right. Because I don't have a passport.
Because you don't have shit.
Yeah. And it was while I was on the run that they made it a thing, because you used to be able to go into Mexico with just your driver's license or whatever, but now you have to have a passport. Yeah. And that happened while I was on the run, and I'm like, no, I wish I would have known that I could have just gone before. Yeah. But I'm glad I didn't, because that would have been a whole other mess being on the run.
Fuck, dude, that would have been scary.
Yeah. So I'm glad I didn't, but she said, oh, well, since you're from England, you've never been to Disneyland. And that was my favorite place growing up, and I want you to experience that. So I'm like, oh, yeah. Except for those 2 other times I've been to Disneyland as a kid, but if it'll make her happy, whatever, you know? And so we drove down to Anaheim, and it was our first. So we drove down that night and then hung out at the hotel. And then the next day we went and bought passes to go to both Disneyland and California Adventure and all that. And there was a car at my hotel that had a Utah license plate. And I was like, oh, but I'm like, wait, how many people are from Utah?
From the same area.
Exactly.
Right.
Who's going to actually know that it's me kind of a thing. But it did make me like a little bit nervous. So we'd been riding rides, having fun for a few hours, and we were sitting down in like the Mark Twain Square thing.
Yeah. At this time, you still dyeing your hair black?
I had it dyed like a darker, almost like an auburn.
Like a brown? Like, okay.
Yeah. But I did stop dyeing my hair after a while. But yeah, I had it dyed like kind of like that. And then I had like a faux hawk all grown out. And so I still looked a little different. I had got more tattoos.
Yeah.
So I looked a little bit different, but still, if people were smart, they would see it was me.
Yeah.
And so we're sitting down eating lunch. And I'm sitting across from this girl. I was like in love with her, man. She was in love with me. I'm like, I don't know where this is going to go, but like, I'll do anything for this.
We can have little British kids.
Yeah. I mean, I had no idea what was going to happen, but I'm sitting there, and like when you're eating and in comfortable silence, you just kind of look around.
Yeah.
And as I'm looking around, I saw a lady that was kind of walking towards us to throw away some garbage, like 20 feet or so away from us. And she looked kind of familiar, but one thing I had learned after being on the run is there's only so many shapes to a human face.
Yeah.
So you'll see somebody and they look familiar to you, but it's not because you know them, you know someone who looks like them.
Yeah.
That happened to me a lot when I was on the run. So at first it always
because you're super paranoid.
Yeah. But then I'd be like, no, that's not them. I'm fine.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, that looks like one of my old neighbors. And I'm sitting there trying to remember the name as I'm watching her, and she throws the garbage away, and as she looks up, we make eye contact for just a split second, and then she walks back over to her group of people. And I'm sitting there trying to remember her name, and I'm like, oh, that's her name. Like, as she gets to the group, because her husband turned, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's their names, because that's
It is them. Oh my God.
Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, she just looked at me. I wonder if she recognized me or not. And then at that moment, their whole group, like, at the same time in unison, their heads all turn and look at me at the same time. So my stomach just drops. I'm like, oh, they know it's me.
Yeah.
So I'm literally sick to my stomach. So I tell the girl, like, I got to go throw up, and then we got to go back to the hotel. I feel like crap. And I'm trying to come up with an excuse of why we need to go back to Sacramento and why our trip is ruined and all this stuff. And I couldn't think. It took me about 20 to 30 minutes to finally get to the front gates because of how deep in we were. And they had a parade going as well down the main street. So it was like super crowded. So I'm like trying to go, and I'm watching my neighbors following behind me.
Are they following? So they know it's you now. Now they're following you.
Yeah. And they're on the phone and following me.
So you knew what was going down.
I knew I was hit.
You're just trying to get away.
Get away before
this feels like Catch Me If You Can. Remember that movie?
You know what? You were not the first person to say that.
Yeah.
When I one of the prosecutors actually mentioned that when I'm in court. That
because if they knew the whole story, they're just like, this is crazy.
It is crazy.
And so then you're leaving.
So as I'm leaving the gates, they like stamp your hand with a stamp so you can come back the same day.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm not going to be back, but thank you. And I took a few steps, and then from behind me, I hear like thudding footsteps, like do. So I'm like, that's either a really fat kid who's super excited to be at Disneyland, or I'm about to eat pavement.
Yeah.
And sure enough, tackled me right then and there in this crowd of people. So my girl starts like crying, kids start screaming, parents are yelling, the cops are yelling. It's just chaos.
Holy
in this
shit.
crowd of people. So they waited till I had just left the park to do that, and scuffed my face up, my arm, and everything. And they're yelling, why'd you do it? Why'd you do it? And they're like,
they were saying, why'd you do it? What the fuck? They give a shit. Just fucking arrest them.
Exactly. And they're asking me my name.
That's all I would be doing. I'd be trying to identify, like, hey, what's your fucking name? Like, for real. Check your pockets. That's as a law enforcement officer, I mean, give a fuck why you did it, dog. You did it.
Right.
Now it's like, who the fuck are you?
Yeah, so that's what they're asking me. And I had kept my real ID just in case my fake ID wasn't going to work for something.
Yeah.
Because now they have barcodes that they scan and all this stuff. So I had kept that, but I told my friends that it was my fake ID.
Oh, yeah.
Because there would be sometimes when we'd go to a bar and I'd try and use my British national ID, and they'd be like, I don't know what that is. We can't take it. So I'm like, okay, fine. Here's this Utah ID.
Yeah.
And so my friends knew that I had that fake ID, but then what they thought was my fake ID, which was my real one.
Right.
And so when I'm caught, I'm laying there on the ground. I realize, like, I'm just going to drop it. I don't want to piss the cops off anymore. I'm caught. No point fighting it. So I drop my accent and I tell them my name.
Yeah.
And my girl hears that and she's like, oh, that must be like INS. They're going to deport him. kind of a thing. So she thinks I'm trying to pretend to use my fake ID
Yeah.
or whatever.
Oh, shit.
And so she's like, wow, they really take deportation seriously here. And so finally they went and they had to interview her and everything, and that's when they told them the story.
she
to
had
see what
no
she
idea.
found out. And yeah, she had no idea what was going on or anything.
Super crazy. And fuck. So here you have it. They caught you, America's Most Wanted, a young bank robber who was on the run for almost about a year.
Almost, yeah.
Holy shit. Crazy, man. I mean, this is one of the longest podcasts I've ever had, but I mean, there's so much more to this that I want to fucking get into. Do you want to schedule a second one?
I'm down.
Let's do it. Let's stop here because there's so much more. I want to talk about your time in prison.
Okay.
And I want to talk about right now. I want to talk. We can hit it here right now, though. You currently, stay-at-home dad.
Yeah.
Right, and you play video games for a living.
That's right. Yeah.
And what system is that?
I'm a Twitch affiliate.
Twitch affiliate.
TV.
Dude, now we were talking about this earlier. I want to get on there and do some Twitch with you. I think it's pretty cool. Like, just so you guys listening, it's not that I don't condone anyone fucking robbing a bank, right? No one fucking does, but people do shit no matter what. I think it's awesome storytelling. I think it's cool to hear your story. You know what I mean? You're put in a position, you did it, and then you served your time. You know, and now you're back in the world, and you're contributing as best you can, and fucking for what you can for being what do they call it, a felon, right?
Right. Yeah. True.
It is what it is, and there's you're not the first, you're not the last, dude. There's plenty of people. A lot of my friends, have made the mistakes, and some are in prison still currently, and some are not. But the case was, I wanted to hear the story. I think it's a fucking crazy wild story. It reminded me so much of Catch Me If You Can. It did. All the things you went to, the intricacies you did to keep the storyline. It's a testament of acting. It's a testament of just staying in character. It's fucking wild, dude. And it's cool to hear. You know what I mean? And the system was so different than 10 years ago. Anyone tries to do that these days, they're fucked, right? There's
so true.
You just can't get away. We have too many things in play with anything. When it comes to fucking credit card check, fucking bank, anything else, you're fucked either way you try and do it. So, you were able to fucking live out this crazy life that was almost a double life for about a year. And it's cool to hear the story. I want to continue this, a part 2 next week.
Let's do it.
And we'll get into the prison system and how we almost crossed paths.
Yeah, almost. Really close.
Really close.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking awesome. Hey, I appreciate it, Curt. You want to give a shout out to what your Twitch handle is, or your Stitch handle?
Yeah, sure. So if people want to check me out, I'm on twitch.tv. The gamer tag is Lord Fox Global, Fox with 2 X's. So I'll give you my card or something. You can put it in the notes if you want to.
Yeah, and you want to also spell that out for them real quick?
Yeah, so Lord, so it's LORDFOXXGLOBAL.
Awesome, cool. And I'll make sure I post that somewhere on the Instagram and Facebook once this episode goes live, and I'll put that all in the notes of it too, so they can check you out.
Awesome, thanks so
Sounds
much.
good, man. I appreciate you telling your story, man. I'm excited for part 2. This is fucking rad, and it's cool that you live so damn close.
Yeah,
we can do this for a while, man. Because I would also love to hear some of these jokes. All right, brother.
I appreciate it.
Later.
I did it.